Hello, what's up everyone, welcome to the video, and today I wanted to do a review of an older Minichamps model. It's almost 20 years old, it was released back in 2001 and it's one of my very favorites. Is the Benetton BMW B186 from the 1986 Formula 1 season, and more specifically from the Mexican Grand Prix, a very important race for Benetton because it was their first race win as a full-time team. Also for BMW it was their first race win, and for the Austrian driver Gerhard Berger it was his first race win as well. And a fun fact about that, Gerhard Berger also scored Benetton's last race win in Hockenheim in 1997, which incidentally was also his last race win. So pretty cool, and Gerhard Berger kind of bookends the whole Benetton story. Yeah, Benetton started out as a sponsor of the Toleman team in '85 and then bought the team and ran the whole team until 2001 when they were bought by Renault. Meanwhile, they won the championship with Michael Schumacher, the Constructors and Drivers Championship, of course, and so they were bought by Renault and won some more championships with Fernando Alonso. Then they changed the name to Lotus and back to Renault again, which they still are to this day. So basically the Renault team from now is still the Benetton or even the Toleman team, the Enstone based team. So that's of course a pretty cool story. For this particular season, '86, Gerhard Berger, who switched from arrows, decided to change his helmet design from his dark blue with light blue streaks. He decided to change it to a more colorful design, fitting to the United Colors of Benetton slogan, of course, and the very colorful car, which was a good decision. I think it's a pretty cool looking helmet. It's been custom made by a friend of mine, so if you want more details about it you can send me a message. Then after he went to Ferrari, he switched back to his dark blue with an Austrian flag on it on the side. But it's pretty cool to see that he changed his helmet design, even when back then they actually didn't do that much, so they kept to their design, but Gerhard did switch for that particular season. Then the car itself, it's a diecast model, as I said. The chassis is actually diecast, but all the rest is plastic. Yeah, the suspension and wings are always plastic, but yeah, the engine cover as well, and it is because it is removable. I did some alterations to the model as well. As you can see, I put some extra detail on the tires, which I usually do, the silver ring as well, or the metallic ring on the rim, which was just black but had to be metallic. And then some raised dirt, I tried to add it as authentically as possible. Here also on the side pod you can see, and then the side pod, as I said, it's plastic with these nice cutout gills, by the way. And on the other side I actually cut them away because the real car was like that, without the gills on the side pod, just a huge cutout, and that was most likely due to cooling necessities. Also, given that the Mexican Grand Prix track is pretty high up in altitude and the air is very thin there, they might have needed extra cooling, so they just cut away the gills, which was aerodynamically not that interesting, of course, but I was happy it's a plastic engine cover because I could cut it away quite easily. So yeah, good looking model, I think. The colors are really nice, the color scheme is very good, but there's one thing that's a bit annoying, I think, and it is the helmet shape. I think it looks a bit too much egg-shaped. It has a weird shape. I don't know why, because back then Minichamps even had those generic helmet shapes, which were pretty good actually, but it's a shame they decided to use this weird shape. The figurine itself is also quite okay. The seat belts are maybe a bit thin and not too good. It still looks quite okay, I think. The steering wheel is nice with the decal in the middle. Then the dashboard is not extremely detailed, but looks okay. And then you have the little gear stick lever underneath the hand, but you can't really see it, I think, on the image. But it is there. Then you had these flags, well, Mexican flag because it was the Mexican race, and Benetton put a flag on the car corresponding to the country where the Grand Prix was at. Then yeah, the rest of the details, like the front wing, the front suspension, is quite okay. They're quite refined. Not too much detail in it, of course. There had to be a little antenna there, which is a shame they missed it or they didn't do it. And then the inside of the side pods are actually really well done, but you can't really see it, but you'll see it better if once I remove the engine cover. Then you have this little scoop here, and on the other side you don't have it, it's just a belch, which is pretty cool. The asymmetrical engine cover, and the whole engine itself is also asymmetrical, as you will see. Then these gills, as I said, they're really cut out, which looks very nice as well, of course. Another very cool thing is the wheels. The wheels are pretty good. I did have to do the modifications to it, but they look quite okay. Then the exhaust, you can see the exhaust clearly sticking out there on the floor, and the floor is actually very short. It's cut out like that over there, and there's no diffuser or anything. It's just the gearbox and suspension, the gearbox casing overhanging. And then you have the rear wing with these long end plates, because they use a different mounting system with the lower rear wing beam connected to the gearbox casing, and they didn't use the central pillars, which most teams used back then. Then you have the different rear wing elements that are pretty nicely done as well, and the whole rear of the car is actually very detailed and very good, very refined. Then here you can see inside the side pod, but we're gonna open up the engine cover now to reveal the detail of the engine, and it's actually very good, especially for a diecast. They put a lot of detail in it. You can see asymmetrical engine compartment, but actually very detailed for a standard diecast model. The BMW engine, the most powerful engine ever, supposedly. You have this mesh in front of the radiators, which looks really refined. Then the different style of radiators. This one goes straight to the turbo spool. Well, I'm not an engineer or a mechanic, so I don't know too much about it. Another one that goes to the engine, I think. And here you see it's a different style of radiator. It also goes to the engine, but to the back of the engine. Then this must be the oil tank or fuel tank. Then that little scoop that was in the airbox, that also goes to the turbo spool. The whole gearbox casing in the rear suspension is very nicely done as well. And then you have that, is that the intercooler outlet? I don't know, I'm not sure, but it's pretty cool that they put it on there. Then you have this little radiator as well with the actual braided metal tubing or wires, and one that goes to a little thingy over there on the engine. I really don't know what it is, but it's very nicely detailed, very nicely replicated. And then this little battery is also very nice, very noticeable, of course, because it's orange, but some nice details on it. And overall the engine, I think, is really good, considering it's an old model back from 2001. And if you think about it, that this model new back then would have cost like 50-60 euros, it's really crazy for such a good model with so much detail in it. It's pretty crazy to think about it. So yeah, a very good looking model. As I said, one of my favorites of Minichamps, and I think they did a really good job on it. So yeah, I hope you liked the review and hope to see you soon for the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.